Hi, my name is Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about erotic tickling, more specifically my top 5 tips for erotic tickling. I think tickling is one of my biggest fetishes at the moment. I absolutely love tickling. But for me there are two types of tickling. I would say there's kind of more sensual tickling and then more maybe BDSM torture types of tickling. So I think there are different tips for those types of tickling. Anyway, let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, upside down. Okay, first tip would be a safe word. It's interesting because I have been practicing BDSM for most of my sexually active life, and I never actually used a safe word, on which of course I think everyone should use a safe word, but I never considered that I was taking any risks or approaching any limits at all in any of the things I've done in the past. However, I remember one time I had a tickle session with a professional tickler, and that was the first thing we talked about was a safe word, and it seemed totally appropriate because he intended to push me to my limits, and the word I thought of was be nice, and it was really funny because he kept telling me, oh, don't you want to say be nice, and trying to make me say it, and I was like no, and it kind of helped me kind of resist against it. I don't know, it was very funny, but I think it's really important because I think if you've got your hand here on someone's armpit with someone who's very ticklish, then they might want to use the safe word in a situation like that, or on the feet as well, which is another really sensitive area, or on the waist. And I find that any part of the body can actually be ticklish, yeah, if you know what you're doing. But yeah, another tip, blindfold. I think in most of my professional tickle sessions I've been wearing a blindfold, and it definitely was necessary. I think it really makes I think it makes you a bit more on the edge, and you're just thinking, where is the tickler? And you don't quite know where they are or which part of your body they're going to tickle next. And that's very exciting. And I think wearing a blindfold just says, I'm going to be passive and not do anything, and you can just lie back and relax and enjoy the tickling. Next, okay, tickling for foreplay, which is very different. Imagine I think I've been enjoying more tickling without any types of BDSM roleplay recently. So I just prefer gentle tickling all over my body. Could be anywhere, the nape of my neck, my back, my legs, anywhere, the ankles. And I think tickling is very relaxing. I'm not talking about the tickling that you would use in a BDSM scenario, but let's just imagine this kind of gentle caressing, very light stroking all over your body is just heaven during foreplay. Absolutely amazing. And especially on the vulva, I think it's incredible, because one of my biggest complaints in sex in the past has been I've found that my partners have been a bit too rough for my liking, and I've just been on edge, a bit kind of tense, anticipating some roughness, and whereas if you're with a tickler, you don't have to think about that. You just relax and enjoy this gentle stimulation, which can actually be more stimulating than rubbing or anything a bit more with more friction. Next tip, well, BDSM, I've kind of talked about that already. Well, yeah, tickling as part of BDSM. I think some people might enjoy being taken to the edge, or some people might enjoy the kind of torturous side of tickling. I think what's interesting about tickling is especially how it provokes a reaction in the rest of your body and your face. It makes your whole body react, and I think a lot of tickle fetishists enjoy seeing that reaction in a tickly. And a tickly, well, I think for using it in a kind of more BDSM context, it's interesting because you can build up a resistance throughout as the session progresses, and it's up to the tickler to try and intensify it somehow. And last but not least, implements. I think using your fingertips is a great start for tickling, and also your nails if you've got nails. Another thing which is really good is it's very simple, but just ripping off a tiny piece of paper. Let's see, like this part here, you can do on someone's face or very lightly on the back of the neck, and it can feel incredible. Now I remember the first time I had a professional tickle session with a professional tickler. I had a blindfold on, so I had no idea what he was touching me with, and he wasn't using the generic feathers that you can get in BDSM kits, because I think those feathers, they're more for relaxing tickling, and actually normally the handle bit is usually a better implement in my opinion. But one thing that was really intense on the sole of my foot was actually a hairbrush or a comb. It's just like, it just makes your feet curl up, and it's quite intense, and I didn't even know what it was, so that was quite exciting as well. So I think you can find some everyday items that can be good for tickling. Anyway, thinking about my next tickling session. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and see you next time.